welcome back to Slightly Under Asking. I'm Kelly Saggione. This is
me, Caitlin. I almost said my maiden name. Where would that have come from? Oh my gosh. That would have been wild.
What is your maiden name?
King.
King.
Yeah. I'm Caitlin King.
Caitlin King.
No one knows me as that anymore.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, Caitlin McKeague, I'm here.
Nice.
Maybe not mentally, physically.
It's warm in here right now.
Yeah, that's why it's cutting off the circulation.
Did you see a dog walk by?
Yes, I did see a dog.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Hallucinating,
maybe.
I know it's hot in here, but like.
Yeah.
All right. So today we are going to talk about teams versus flying solo. What's right for you? What things to consider, things you might want to ask if you are interviewing. And this also we will cover if you're an experienced agent, things to consider, but also if you're a new agent. Yeah. So I think in past episodes, we've kind of talked about our journeys independently.
Yep.
But just a quick recap. I have never been on a team, but I have been part of a small brokerage that felt like a team because it was small and very collaborative, and I had a mentor, and it was very traditional. Mm-hmm. I have led a team at one point, but I quickly learned that wasn't my journey. I think that a lot of times agents, especially when you get into coaching, if you don't have a set path or like a very clear vision of where you're going, that tends to be like the natural progression of an agent when you get coaching. They teach you first, you work, then you bring on a transaction coordinator, then you bring on an assistant, then you bring on showing agents, then you bring on buyer's agents. You build a team, then you build a mega team, and then you sell the team, and then then you're fucking Scarface, and you own the world. It's like, am I right?
Yes.
Like, so if you don't have a very, very clear set path on where you're going, sometimes I think you get kind of swept into that. Yeah. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I got really busy, and deals and clients might fall through the cracks. Leads fell through the leads fell through the cracks. Mm-hmm. And then, there's only so many places I can be in a given day, right? Like I can't show houses in Gilbert and then do a listing appointment in Surprise.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Do you want the commission or not, Kelly?
Quit being a little bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But so of course what they would tell you is like, well, if you had a team, you would pass that buyer lead and you would just be solely focused on getting listings because listings as the rainmaker, trickle down into more buyers, right? Yada. So closing the loop, because I go on tangents, what I found is I had a really hard time running a team. I really loved everyone who was on the team, but what I found was it's very hard for people to transition out of 9-to-5 careers, kind of straddle that line of still going to work because they have bills to pay, but also taking on real estate and then stepping away from the 9-to-5. I found that was very hard for people to do, and that was typically the team members I had, and it just never played out. What would happen is I would mentor for a long time, and what would happen is they would maybe go back to their 9-to-5, or they would maybe close 1 or 2 deals, say, "Hey, that looked really easy. I don't need to be on a team. Like I could have done that my own," but they didn't see the back end of all the mentoring and everything I did. Yeah. In the systems I provided. Yeah. So maybe they didn't see the value in me as a team lead, and that's fair. That's fine. So we thought this would be a good episode to kind of kick around things to consider if you are a new agent or an experienced agent. Maybe you're at a crossroads on your brokerage or your business or your team that you're on, or maybe you want to step away from it, or maybe you want to jump on one. things to consider.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really dependent on the agent. I think teams can be great for newer agents because obviously you have support, but you also don't need a team as a new agent if you have a brokerage that provides support. Like you said, like in a brokerage that was a little bit smaller, maybe felt like more of a team environment.
Or just a mentor that,
Yeah. Yeah. A mentor is great too. But it's, I guess, some benefits to a team being that depending on the team, they may be able to offer you leads. You may get more coaching or mentorship, accountability, feel like you're not doing things alone. And having a little bit more like, I guess, guidance and opportunity because it can be a very lonely business and it can be very, you can kind of get lost a lot of the time too, especially if you're new. When you hit those lulls and you're like, am I doing this right? Like to have still like going to team meetings and seeing people and having other people say like, nope, you're on the right track. Like we're working on this, this and that helps you get through those lulls to not feel like, you know, like you're doing something wrong because it happens to everybody. So there are definitely benefits to the team, even if you are an experienced agent. There's plenty of experienced agents that love being on teams.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the camaraderie, the support, the resources. You know, the team sometimes will provide your like CRM access and a website and, you know, all of those, like all that overhead, even though overhead is not that big for real estate, if you don't have like office space, it still is a cost that you're paying out.
See, I respectfully disagree with that. I feel like there are so many small, I mean, it's like 20 here, 25 here, 49 here a month, 100 here.
It adds up.
I feel like it adds up.
No, I'm just saying like you don't need to like have a storefront.
Yes, correct.
In comparison, right? But yes, it adds up, and especially if you're not smart with it because it is sneaky. I will say so. Like from looking at my own statements lately, I'm like, what the fuck is all this? Like charges here and there for like $10, $25, like monthly.
I know, those really chap my ass.
I know.
You know what really bugs me is like the $10 Apple.
Oh,
like
what is this?
I like 4 of those a month.
I know. And then I'm always like, I got to look into that. And then I forget until the next month.
I know.
Yeah. But anyway, a team leader sometimes carries that overhead, which like is really helpful. It's like you can be very plug and play. You have systems at your fingertips that you're not paying for, and you just get to like transact and work on your business. So even as an experienced agent, that's helpful. Now, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to be part of a brand that's not theirs. And like every team is different, right? Because there's going to be teams that will require you to use their branding. Most teams do. They don't have the flexibility outside of that. But then there's teams that might want like mine, use your own branding. You don't have to use my team's branding at all. And you can have that kind of autonomy. My team structure is totally different than the traditional team structure out there. It's what I call a collective. But, you know, I guess that's kind of the downside on the team side of things, or feeling like you have to be making calls or reporting in numbers and stuff like that for people that maybe don't thrive in an accountability type of environment. You know, so I think it really depends on not necessarily your length of time in the business, but more so the way that you like to operate.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it took me a long time to understand, and I know this is it's apparent now, but I always found it very interesting that like when I was in the beginning stages of starting a team, I couldn't understand why someone would want to be on a team because I don't operate like that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? 100%. I am not the avatar of someone joining a team.
Yeah.
I am the avatar of someone running a team.
Correct. And
it took me a long time to understand that there are people out there that don't want to generate leads.
Yep.
That they would like to, you know, they don't need to make X dollars and then they don't need to double that and then double that. They don't strive for that. And that's
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
That's the beauty of this business. It can look any way you want it to look, and it can be whatever you want it to be.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I'm that high D personality. So I'm probably not the best team member. You know what I mean?
Right.
I play well with others, but like that, I'm not built for that.
Yep. I think that's huge because on the flip side of all of this, if you're someone who's thinking about starting a team, like if you need the help, don't be afraid to start the team because you can't understand the value in the team. Because I faced that exact challenge, and that in fact means that you're probably a better team leader than a team member, and so you're on the right track.
Yep.
But I went through iterations with that with my coach for so long of just like trying to, figure out what is my value proposition when I was trying to start more of a traditional team, and trying to figure out like what that was, and it felt so wrong. I just couldn't
only want to work
figure
with
it out.
me.
Yeah.
Why would they want, they won't use me if I start a team.
And finally my coach was like, listen, like you're not trying to recruit yourself.
Yeah.
You're trying to recruit people that see the value in having leads, in having mentorship. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm a lone wolf. Like I don't want to go join anyone else's team. This all sounds horrible. So I can't authentically go out there and like pitch this and be like, I'll do all of this for you and you can use my branding. And I'm like, and she's like, but that's because you're not trying to recruit yourself. You're trying to recruit the people who like this stuff. And there are plenty of them out there that like to be part of something.
Yes.
So that's, I guess we're on the same page with that. Like piece of advice, if you're thinking about starting a team and you're facing that challenge, keep going forward.
But also I think no matter what, and we've talked about this on past episodes, I think as a human being, the first thing everybody needs to do is take a DISC assessment.
Yeah.
You need to know what your personality type is because one, it'll show you how you interact with others, and it will help you. I think it will definitely help you decide what you're best suited for. If you are suited to be a team member, or maybe you do go at lone wolf, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that's what I did.
Yeah.
I turned out great. I turned out great.
It's working out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll give you some insight into how you operate and how you interact with others, and maybe who's, even if you wanted to get a little bit more granular, what type of team leader is you're best suited to be under.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. But
team structures can be so different too.
Exactly.
Like, it's so hard to say like joining a team is joining a team because it's not. Like
it's not.
And I feel like different regions of the country, things operate a little bit differently too. So there's go ahead.
Well, sorry. And even different brokerages can operate like a team. Like if you feel like you just need, so I notice this a lot of new agents say, well, I need the continuing ed. So I'm going to join a team. Well, pump the brakes, because you might just get that being at a specific brokerage if you really leaned in.
Yeah.
Like if you need community, that's different. Maybe a cloud-based brokerage isn't right for you.
Yeah.
But if you need education, I mean, I'm going to plug Real Broker right now because that's where we're at, but you can go on at any time of day and take a pre-recorded class by a colleague who is a top dog in a specific niche and learn from them.
Yeah.
So I'd say, like, what is your motivation? If you're a new agent, you kind of operate like a lone wolf, but you want continuing ed. Maybe you don't just run and jump on a team. Maybe you just need to look at more brokerages. Yeah. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I do think there's a lot of support you can get at the brokerage level, depending on the brokerage.
Yeah.
And then the team can function. I mean, there's teams that are more set up to provide leads, like a Zillow Flex team, like that kind of thing. And then there's teams that are very, like, I think you mentioned this in one of our first episodes, is like, there's teams where it's like, this is how we do it to prospect here. Like they're big on open houses, or they're big on cold calling, or whatever it is. And so it's kind of like, you got to fit in, right? And there may not be as much support for like different ways to do things. So you want to vet that out, because if that's not in alignment with how you want to build your business, it's going to cause a lot of friction. You won't feel the support there.
Yeah.
So understanding how the team functions, what they train on, how they teach their agents to do things, how most of them get their business and what that looks like is going to be really helpful to know.
Well, just think of our episode with Brock.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you want to be a luxury agent, don't join a Zillow Flex team.
Right. Yep.
And certainly don't be a lone wolf.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to be a luxury agent and like uber luxury, you need probably a small boutique broker or mentor that you are shadowing.
Yep.
And you're going to pay for that.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? I think it's very important for newer agents, because I think a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. Think when they're so hyper focused on the team split.
Yep.
And I feel like you need to see the value in what you're getting, but you also, you know, that also comes with identifying the right team lead, right? If you want to have a really robust YouTube generated business one day, you need someone like Caitlin, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're going to pay to learn from her because she is going to shortcut you all of the piddly bullshit that she went through, all of the expenses that she wasted money on. She's going to get you from A to B probably in a couple months, whereas it took you how many years?
Yeah. 6 years, whatever.
And so you need to really wrap your head around the cost that, you know, there's going to be a cost with that for her mentorship. And that's okay.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because your business will look much different, much quicker.
I think, yeah, and that's a really good point, is that and if you think about it, you're not paying anyone for coaching. You're not paying anyone a monthly fee for services. You only pay them when you get paid. And it's just a percentage of your compensation that you pay out. So it's actually kind of a win-win. And people look at splits as such a negative thing. And it's like, wait, I'm giving you business cards, signs, headshots, mentorship, leads, all of these things up front, making a bet on you that you're going to execute.
That's assuming you close one deal, and that
I
won't
don't
even
get
probably
paid
cover it
until you close one deal, and all I do is take a little bit of what you just made. You know what I mean? But that the mindset of the agent is, I just did all the work, and you took 30% or 50%. And you've got to, as a new agent, or not even a new agent, but if you want the team support, like, you've got to flip the script and think about it, because the king in this whole business is leads. If you don't have a lead, you don't have business, right? And so that team leader could actually just work that lead and take 100% of the compensation.
Yeah.
They don't need to give it to you. In fact, they're actually paying you 70% or 50% for you to do the work on that. But they did all the work that took either months, years, or even their own money to pay for those leads. And then they're giving it away to you, trusting that you are not going to fuck it up, to be honest.
Well, and trusting that you're going to follow up on it, because it takes how many touches to actually get a convert, you know what I mean?
Correct. Yep. So, and it depends on when this handoff takes place. Like, if it's early on and you have to nurture them, then agents complain about that. And it's like, well, that's part of the game. Like, if I'm going to nurture them for this whole time, like, I'm not going to give you the full chunk of this either. Like, that's work for me. So, and I'm taking a risk that you're actually going to follow up, like you said, and you're going to keep this lead close and not blow it after I've paid for it. Right. So I think there has to be a mental shift on that. And I will say, like, I get it. When I first started, I was like, what the? You're going to, like, my split is this, and I'm the one that ran around with this buyer. But you have to look at everything else that happened before that buyer was seeing homes with you. And you also have to think about, how did you even have the opportunity to work with this buyer? Because someone showed you how to open a lockbox, and someone showed you how, you know, someone gave you business cards and headshots so that you could be on the map. You know, that's all kind of, and you're not paying for it until you get paid.
Yep.
it's like
50%
floating.
of something is better than 100% of
nothing. Yeah, exactly. So
I think it's a lot of times being really honest about how you operate. And I think it just, a lot of it boils down to that. I mean,
yeah,
I always talk about the DISC assessment. Like, you have to be really honest about your personality type. And there's nothing wrong with going lone wolf. That's okay.
yeah.
But I do think that it's important to establish some sort of community, even on your own, joining masterminds, jumping into those Zoom calls, CE classes, all that. And also, like, making friends with other realtors.
Yeah.
It's, those are some of the best friendships, for one, but also the most, important relationships you'll have.
Yeah.
In terms of networking, in terms of even just like your mental health.
Yes.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't get it other than other realtors.
Absolutely. Or even just to like shoot a question over to someone, like, or like, hey, when you get this objection, like, how did you get around this? Or like, I had a question about like relocation companies because I don't work with them often, and like have an agent friend that I know does a lot of relo, and I was just able to say like, hey, is this normal? Like, and that, then nothing wrong with calling the broker, but obviously that can be a little bit more of like a cumbersome conversation. It's not as easy because it's more of a professional conversation. You don't really have usually much of a relationship depending on the size of your brokerage. So like, to just shoot a text off to someone and get a second opinion, like, that is valuable, I think. So having
100%.
those relationships are important. So I think, in summary, teams aren't for everyone. Being a team leader is not for everyone. But I think DISC assessment is one thing, understanding how a team operates, because if you've interviewed with one, it doesn't mean you've interviewed with all.
Yes.
So I would stay open-minded to that if you're looking for a team, and kind of understand how they operate and why, and see how that aligns with you. There's also a number of different ways teams are structuring these days, like more of those like marketing teams where it's very much hands-off, very, very low splits. And you get, some resources associated with that, some branding, and a little bit of like community. Those can be local, and they can also span national. So like, those are things to look into too. I know Real has a number of those marketing teams right now. And so I think it's just about like interviewing, like you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you.
100%.
Yeah.
If you, we will leave it in the show notes. We'll put a link to a free DISC assessment.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to take that. But also, we have a PDF, things to consider joining a team versus being a solo agent, which is right for you. Some questions you might want to ask the team lead. So we'll also link that in the show notes for you. But yeah, I think that this was, a helpful episode to kick around as things to consider. New agents, experienced agents, or even if you're like dabbling in the idea of starting a team, there's, it's important to see what newbies are asking, and people can, what your team members might need or want.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we'll put all that in the show notes. Be sure to, if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And then if you are listening on your podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening, please go ahead and hit follow and give us a review. We would love that. And
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you on the next episode.